Hi there, it's Mark Wickersham, Amazon #1 best-selling author of Effective Pricing for Accountants, and in this very short video I'm going to share with you why the old way of pricing, time-based billing, I believe is unethical and actually at times it's bordering on negligence. Welcome back. So why on earth is the old way of pricing, the redundant time-based billing method, why is it unethical? Why is it bordering on negligence? That sounds a bit controversial. Let me explain. Firstly, a few years back, Steve Pipe and I were involved in a research study. We researched 156 accounting firms to find out what are the most successful firms doing different, what is the blueprint for a better accountancy firm. And one of the things that was interesting and fascinating was a question where we said to the people in the survey, we said, what proportion of the time, when you pick up a brand new client from an existing accountant, when you pick up that brand new client and you look at their books and records and affairs, what proportion of the time do you find errors or mistakes that the previous accountant has made? And what was absolutely staggering was the results from that. What we were told by the 156 accounting firms in the survey is they found errors with the previous accountant's work in 45% of cases and things that were missed in 42%. That's scary. That's worrying. Now, of course, that doesn't apply to you. Of course, you don't make those mistakes. Or do you? It might be worth sometime, if you could, talking to accountants that have won business from you and asking them the same question. It's actually quite a scary thought. Now, the reason this happens is not because as a profession we don't have the knowledge. We are some of the most highly skilled people on the planet. The qualifications we've gone through to get accounting qualifications, the degree before that we've got, we have got so much knowledge from spending years working with business owners. The knowledge is there, we know it. It's not because we mean to be unethical or negligent, because we lack that integrity. That's not the case either. The reason this happens is because of the old, outdated business model of pricing, and that's pricing based on time. Let me illustrate with a story from when I was a manager in the profession many years ago. Before I started my own accounting firm in 1996, in the mid-90s, I was a manager, and this was my experience. A job would come in to the office. It would get given to a junior member of the team or a senior. They would do the accounts. At some point in the process, the job then came to me for a final review, to go through the final points before having the meeting with the client to go through and finalise the accounts. Now, back in those days, in the 1990s, we kept timesheets, we religiously recorded hours, and what would happen is at the point of doing the final review, as a manager, I would always request the work in progress report to see what was on the clock at that point in time. And this seemed to be the common situation. I would have a client where perhaps last year we billed them 2,000. Perhaps this year I'm thinking we will bill them 2,100. And when I get the work in progress report, I would often find that the number on there for the value of time was about budget. I'd already hit the 2,000, 2,100, and I'd be thinking, crikey, I've still got to meet with the client. I've still got to finalise the accounts. I'm going to have a write-off here and make a loss. In fact, it's interesting that some years ago, benchmarking studies showed that in the UK, write-offs or recovery rates are roughly around 92%. In fact, some gurus used to say that 92% was a good benchmark, which kind of illustrates to me how absurd this profession is. Why should we have a benchmark of writing off time of 8%? Why should we have a benchmark of aiming to make a loss on jobs? Crazy. Anyway, so what would happen is I'd print off that work in progress report, the time so far on the clock already hit or exceeded what I think we can bill. And so what happens at a subconscious level is we think, I need to be efficient here. I need to get this job done as quick as possible, have the meeting with the client as quick as possible, get it out the door, get it sent to the tax authorities. And so our time-based billing system focuses our minds on being efficient and quick. And I would argue that's what's causing this problem. Because yes, there's certainly some value in the compliance work we do, doing the accounts, the bookkeeping, the payroll. But actually, where as a profession we change people's lives is when we do things like help them improve their sales, help them improve their margins, improve their profits, help them improve their tax position, help them improve their cash balance, make their life better and easier. We've got, as a profession, we can change people's lives. We know so much about business because of the qualifications we've gone through, the training we've gone through. The problem is, at the point that we can deliver the most value, we stop because we're up against the clock. What do I mean by that? Well, I would suggest that for any one of your clients, if you took a client and spent 2 hours in a quiet room with no emails, no distractions, if you spent 2 hours thinking about that client and their business and thinking about how can I possibly help them to save more tax? How can I possibly help them to grow their revenues? How can I possibly help them to improve their margins? How can I possibly help them to improve their profit? How could I possibly help them to improve cash flow? How could I possibly help them have a better life? I know with certainty that you'd come up with dozens and dozens of ideas. If you spent 2 hours thinking about helping a client, you would come up with loads of ideas. The problem is, when we're focused on the time and being efficient, we don't have the time to do those things, and so we miss stuff. Of course, the next accountant that comes along, starting with a fresh sheet of paper, with fresh eyes, they see those things that we've missed, not because we want to be negligent or just want to miss those things, but simply because of the structure we have in place of focusing our billing based on time rather than value. It's focused on the wrong thing. If we change to a value-based approach, that means that the more we change people's lives, the more we make a difference, the higher the prices, which means the client wins and you win. That's how it should be, making a difference to people's lives. Now, if you agree with me that our focus absolutely must be on adding value to clients' lives, then please hit the like button below this video, and I will then see you on another video very soon. Bye for now.